Hi, Eric.
Hello there. Hi.
Eric Roberson. How you doing?
I am great, having a good time on this amazing day of balancing work with kids and life.
Yes, yes. If people don't know, first of all, thank you for joining us on the Silver Lining series. If you don't know Eric Roberson, then you've been hiding under a rock for the last 20 years of your life,
Where have you been?
right?
Godly.
And Eric is an artist, an entertainer, singer, songwriter, poet, content creator, everything you can possibly imagine. And Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And I must compliment, like I said, the yellow wall. I haven't gotten a lot of sunshine lately, so your sweater and wall is giving me everything.
Yes.
I just need to take it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Eric, during this crazy moment, I have seen you all over Instagram Live. You've been keeping yourself busy.
Amazingly, I would have never thought that being home and not being able to leave, all shows canceled, and I would actually technically be busier than I've ever been, which
Yes.
I'm still trying to like wrap my mind around, and like even just trying to schedule something the other day, and I was like looking at my calendar like I'm not gonna be able to fit this in until Thursday, and it's like, how is that possible? Like I'm not going anywhere, but yeah, I've made a lot. I've made use of this time. Like, that's the best way to say it. And I think before it really caught on. I mean, one, I'm married to a worrier. My wife, who's amazing, was probably worrying ahead of time. And then at the same time, I teach at Berkeley School of Music, and a lot of my students are from different countries. So when we started school this semester, they came to class with stories of what was happening in their country. So I think it was kind of already on my radar. And so I think I got a message from Berkeley saying, if you fly in for school, don't come. And that was all I needed to hear. I was like, yeah, we're not leaving the house from, and it was a while ago. That was a while ago. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to kind of chill. And almost immediately then, I think I said, okay, what do I hear now? Like what, I talk a lot about like the art of listening and being aware to how you're being nudged, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just in life.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, almost immediately creatively, I just opened up, and as you already know, I put an album out last week, and we recorded all like in 3-4 weeks time. Wow. And I was literally just coming up with like a song a day. Like literally every time I got out the shower, I had a whole idea, music, words, everything. So I was just chasing probably for like 2-3 weeks, just chasing music.
Wow.
Of course, homeschooling, all that stuff like that. So now that's done. Now I'm coming up and I'm going, okay, so I see this new thing of live streaming. That's the new thing now, and
Right.
and art is a service, so we're helping people cope. We put this album out to help people cope. I started making an album because we were sharing what I was writing just to help people cope. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like we see what we're supposed to do, and I'm trying to do my part, trying to be of service of this time to kind of help people's minds go off of the obvious.
So does it, like, how did you balance that out though? Like, you have three amazing hyper kids, like boys, like they are
three
all
young boys.
reflections of you.
My wife has 4 boys, young boys, bounce around the house right now.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
You have 3, your wife has 4.
Right.
And I know your wife is still working full time. Like, how did you find even the time, like, to, because you're homeschooling your kids now, how did you find the time to kind of manage putting out an album? And even when you're putting out an album, like, I'm sure there's still some pre-work that needs to go into it, some promotion that needs to go into it.
Yeah.
Is it the team around you? How did you handle?
Well, speaking just for me personally, for me, I think a lot of it is you completely commit to what hat you have on at the time. You know, I very much, I practice a thing called process over product. So,
Mm.
you know, and I struggled a little bit with this here because um, as the music started to take over, you know, you're wrestling, but where I'm like, when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, and the music is secondary and promotion is secondary. And
Mhm.
then when I'm in music, of course, then they're usually asleep or they're going to do something else. And I can really focus and know what hat I'm wearing at the time. But
Mhm.
then it was a lot of like, I'm with the kids, but yet I'm trying to send off this campaign or like handle a business meeting because we're all home now. Where, you know, usually you can knock out a lot of work while kids are at school. The homeschooling aspect, the teachers are doing an amazing job, but we still, I mean, I got a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So we still have to be there to make sure they're logged in to whatever, and then they're sitting still and paying attention. And then the teacher's giving them assignments and science projects. So now you're doing, you know, so it's way more work than I expected in that regard.
Mhm.
But for me, you know, the album came together one because I wasn't going in going like what to write. I was walking in with already the ideas. I just had to more find how to make it more tangible,
Mhm.
which was more of the work. And the funny thing is like this whole, which I commend my wife, man. You know, you can't get this done without the right partner. You can either be single and get it done or have the right partner. But having the wrong partner is not the move. And it was always funny, like my routine usually, you know, I might would work a little bit during the daytime. Then we would stop for dinner and then, you know, get the kids washed up, put them to bed. Now there's about an hour from like 8 to 9 where, you know, just kind of catching up with my wife. And usually I'll be tired because I was probably up till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning working on music. So I
Mhm.
usually say, babe, I'm gonna go downstairs and turn the equipment off. That's like almost every night. I would just never come up. Every night. Every night. With Netflix movie, you know, go catch up on Ozark or whatever. And all right, I'm gonna go turn my equipment off because I don't want to doze off and just leave everything up and running. And I still got
Right.
it, you know. So I go downstairs, and when I go downstairs, the walk downstairs, the idea would show up, or just flush, or just, you know, oh man, okay, I had the idea up that I laid down at 5 o'clock. I forgot all about it because I've been up here playing with the kids. And I press play, and it's like, so then before you know it, it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning again, and I'm working again, and I got another song done or two songs done. So it was just really just committing to what was there, and it's often, I mean, I really believe that oftentimes we just get in the way of ourselves. We get in the
Mhm.
way of. I'm at a point now where I don't really take credit for writing stuff. I take credit for finding it. You know,
Mm.
I believe the
Mm.
words
I
already
love
exist. The
that.
book already exists. Everything already exists. So it's more. I say? I can't claim to write a song any more than a cook can claim to create a fish. Now he can
Mm.
cook. He can cook it, right? He can catch
Mhm.
it. He can cook it. How you prepare it may be different and maybe better than other people, but you can't claim to that you made it. Like it wasn't. It was already there. You
Right.
didn't create the fish. You know what I mean? You caught it. You found it, and you brought it to a place of serving it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think I'm really much now. So like the pressures of like creating is far removed. So even more, let's say I'm in the middle of a song and one of the kids come in and needs something, or my wife needs something, I can stop, which I couldn't do before. I can stop right then and with the faith that when I come back to it, it'll be there,
Mm.
or something else of importance will be there. You
I
know,
love that. I
we're
love
we're
that.
we're, we're back in the day. Back in the day, I was like, we could be in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner with my dad saying prayer. If the idea comes, I'm leaving that mid prayer to like focus because I'm like, oh my God, I can't afford for this to leave.
In me right now. I gotta
It's in me
go
right
right
now. I got to I
now. Yeah,
got to
I gotta
capture
go.
it.
Right, right, right.
You know, to
I love
me now, creativity is like a relationship, like a friendship. Like
that.
if I called you and you were busy, you'd be like, hey, let me finish this up and I'll hit you back. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when we talk later, we may not remember what we initially were going to talk about at that time, but we will still have a good conversation. And
Yeah.
creativity is that way too. Like you have to trust that whatever will be there will still be of substance. It may not be the exact same idea that you initially were trying to work on, but it will still be something great. And what happens? Our worry will get in the way of that relationship. I worry, like, will it return? Will it be great? Will get in the way of it actually just being great. If I worried about how well this conversation would go, it wouldn't go well.
Right. That's so true.
We just gotta have the conversation.
So
You know what I mean?
true.
Yeah. So
So true.
that's kind of how how my 24 hours in the house is pretty much all day.
Nice. So I know you've been doing album release online, album release listening sessions. You're taking over TV One. Are you doing anything else? Are you doing any master classes? Do you have anything else in store that you'll be doing soon?
I would love to plan more stuff. I mean, the live stream concerts are a lot more work than I thought they would be.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
be to like stand and sing in front of like a screen for
Right.
an hour. And then even with us trying to work out the technology, like going on IG Live, you're not singing into a microphone. So even more, you're projecting even more. 'Cause I got the music blast, I'm projecting straight in. Like I'm not singing, I'm not protected by a microphone or in ears. So it's a lot more work. So with me, I would do it every night if I could, but I don't think my voice would or just body would hold up to do it.
Right.
Where I applaud the DJs and the musicians who are doing it consistently, as well as singers who are doing it consistently. But I think other things, yeah. So I teach still at Berkeley. We moved everything to online. So all Wednesday, from Wednesday morning to Wednesday evening, I'm just going through classes and teaching, and I would love to kind of branch off and do that. Just gotta plan it. I mean, I do songwriting workshops, I do improv workshops, I do all those all the time. So really just to announce it and really just set up and whoever kind of wants to do it can happen. But the technology and everything's changing so fast right now. And what people are focused on is changing so fast right now. So just trying to figure it out, just trying to figure out and really do my part and really see like, okay, we put this new album out, and mind you, we finished it on Monday, we put it out Friday. So mind you, the setup time and all the stuff like we usually would do, the 3 or 4 weeks of promoting and making sure that everybody has it, we were like, no, just put it out and see where it goes. So even that is an experiment. I'm really proud of the album, but for me, if it's forgotten by next week, I'm fine with it. If it becomes the biggest record I've ever done, I'm fine with it. Like it was something different for me. And I think whatever the next step is going to be that too. Like, I've been very fortunate. I mean, all the shows getting canceled. Sure, is there some worry? Is there a bit tightness of finances? Yeah, but am I broke? No, I kind of have things somewhat figured out. I don't need to necessarily like throw my Cash App name up on a live stream. At the same time, if somebody asked for it, I probably would give it. I'm wrestling, even praying for that, because I am one who really believes art is a service. But at the same time, we're trying to take care of families, trying to take care of my staff, trying to do all those things. So I think we're all trying to figure all that out. Most important, we just have to do whatever we do has to be done with grace. Because the part that we're kind of missing, and I think these cultures are going to clash in a bit, is that we're necessarily entertaining those who are bored at home, and they may be connected to this pandemic we're dealing with. They may know someone who have passed or know someone in the hospital, but we're technically connected to those who feel like, oh man, I'm now in my house because of this, and I'm making do to figure out stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of people really, really hurting. You're hearing more and more people who have lost their dads or their moms, more and more people who have lost their brothers, more and more people who have just gotten out of the hospital, who've been battling for their life for the last 4 weeks. And now they're going home and quarantining themselves, and they're trying to figure out, they've been in the hospital room with no phone and no connection to the world, fighting for their lives for the last several weeks. So, they tune on and it's just a big old party going on, like, hey, tune in, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're about to start receiving attendance from them, we're about to start receiving attendance from someone who just lost a sibling. We're about to start seeing attendance. Right now, the first 2 weeks, our attendance were just people who were bored.
Right. And
And
now we're dealing with people that need some type of healing.
need some type of healing, and that's
That's
where it doesn't mean that it can't still be a party. It doesn't mean we still can't be funny.
yeah.
Like I said, it just has to be a moment of like, we just have to make sure, acknowledge and be prepared that at any point, because it's live and comments are flowing or whatever, that the conversation may change at any point. Just one comment can change the whole course, the climate of where we're at. And so we just have to be a little more prepared, just a little more grace about it.
And that's the thing too, Eric. Like now that we're starting to see a shift, in our attendance and people that are coming to you for arts, what's the silver lining in all of this? I mean, from an artist to the people that's receiving your gift, like what's the silver lining during these times, do you think, that we can kind of lean on for that hope?
That's a great question. And, I think, I just got to be faithful to the overall. When I look at history, art, music specifically, has been the backbone to our march, period. If you listen to any stories through slavery, you listen through the civil rights movement, when you look at any history of any war, you had trumpet players and right behind the front line, bullets whizzing past their head, arrows and swords whizzing past their head, and they're keeping the morale up. When you listen to Titanic, when the boat was capsizing, the band was still playing to the point where they technically could not play anymore. And I don't necessarily want to say that this is a Titanic moment, but I know where I stand. I have to be patient on what my reward will be. Right? I have to be patient. My first goal is to keep my family, my friends and family safe. And then we are to do our service. And if we see a reward, if we see a boost in popularity, if we see our tour thing go crazy when we go back on, so be it. If we realize that someone was healed through a song we did, whether one right now or 1 years before, if we took somebody's mind off for an hour, that could be our reward. That could be our peace. But at the same time, I think, overall, when you look at the history of the world, man, this is just the worst thing that's happened in our lifetime of what we're seeing, like just something that,
right.
When you look at like, what is it, the Black Death, look at the Spanish
flu back in early 1900s, right?
Millions and millions of people passing and stuff like that, and somehow we've gotten through world wars and depressions, the Great Depression and stuff like that. We're going to be able to rebuild. Will it look the same? Will it be the same? No, but will we thrive? And at the same time, just keeping it 100, like, we got a Black president after African Americans were enslaved for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? So we found ways to achieve and flourish. So, sure, is there going to be a technology shift? Sure, is there going to be a cultural shift? Will it be years before we're technically shaking hands and hugging again?
Who knows?
It goes back to my boy Denon Porter, amazing producer, said he was shot when he was younger, and he flatlined and survived. He said it physically changed his life, how he lives, and he said breathing is his reward. Like, just breathing is his reward. Every day he's reminded, like, the fact that I can go is like everything else is fine. And I think if my hope is that when the doors open and we can come out, that our perceptions of things are healthier, if any. Our reward might just be a healthier perception. I think I've had more genuine, heartfelt conversations with my friends over the last month. I've acted out on thoughts that popped in my head way more. And I just pray that as contagious as this pandemic may be, that may be even more contagious.
Yeah.
That perception that, we had a tough time, but it gave me this opportunity. The silver lining, which I know I'm super long-winded with this answer because I keep hearing things.
Right. No, good.
The silver lining is that majority of us, if given the opportunity to realize we have an opportunity to grow unlike we thought we would ever.
Mm.
And I say that to say that when did we ever think that our to-do list will be wiped away clean? That all our obligations, all of our whatever has been our slate has completely been clean. I think it would be a disservice for any of us in a month from now, whatever, to walk out our door the same person we were when we walked in it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And that doesn't mean that you have to leave with a new album or a campaign to become the next president or whatever. A lot of it might mean that, you know what, I got closer to God. My praying routine got strengthened. You know what I'm saying? Or just whatever you need to hear in that moment. And it shouldn't be I come out and I'm like measuring who has the bigger development or accomplishment. I did this while I was there. I hung these hats on the wall. It might just be like, yo, I had a small nudge.
Yeah.
Nudge was like, you know what? I need to make sure I talk to my grandmother more. So after this is all over, now me and my grandmother talk every other day for about 30 minutes. Like if that's what it is,
Exactly.
That's going to change you.
Exactly.
And we have to make sure you can't come out of this and be like, well, I just caught up with all the shows on Netflix and now I'm back at work, a job I hate.
Right. Going back into the
cycle,
cycle, right? Going back into the cycle. Like,
oh yeah,
we have a chance to really control, alt, delete our lives.
Exactly. And I think that's the main thing to me. And I think some of us are all seeing it at different times.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're here for another month or so, I think you're going to have one of the biggest creative surges you've ever seen in music, creative surges you've seen in art, and then hopefully it transfers into like one of the biggest development moments we see in our people.
Right.
In general, like just at some point, I often say like we have to understand the intent in failure. I'm at a point now that when I fail at something, I get excited about it now because I like there's a lesson here if I just pay attention.
Right.
So often we're like, woe is me. Oh, I failed. Oh, I'm so embarrassed that you missed the whole intent, the whole point of why you failed in the first place, right? So as the world is failing right now, right? And mind you, once again, grace, we're losing people and we have a whole nother side of people just on the front line that are dealing with a catastrophe that we don't have to deal with, unfortunately. Right. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with. But at the same time, there's a failure that we still have to look for the intent of. We may now fail to go outside as much as we like, or now to go, you know what I mean? So now while we're here in this closure, while we're here in this quarantine moment, what's the intent? Everyone should take a minute and just ask, what is the intent of this? Person, everybody's answer should be totally different. And if you take a minute to answer that question honestly, you will be better off when the doors open again.
Perfect. That is like the perfect instruction manual for how we should be maintaining this time, how we should be dealing with this time right now. What's our intent? I love it. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So the name of the album, Here From Here, right? Hold on.
From Here. That's right. That's right.
And people can find the new album anywhere they stream or download music.
That's right. Or my website, Eric Roberson Music, but pretty much anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, all the fun stuff.
Do you mind sharing your social channels with people so people can follow you from here? I'd love for anyone who's seeing this and experiencing this series to know how to get a hold of Eric Roberson
I
social.
love how you said, do I mind? Like, I do not want them to find me.
You know, some people may not.
Yeah, we talked about this. Foolishly, I'm different on everything. On Instagram, I am Arrow44. That's ERRO44.
Mhm.
On Twitter, I am Eric Roberson. IAM Eric Roberson. On Facebook, I have no idea. I think it's Blue Arrow Soul or Eric Roberson. I think you can just type my name in and you'll
I'm
find
gonna type it. I'll put it on the credits. So I'll put it on the credits. Like
There you go.
after this, go to the
Yeah.
credits. Hey, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Go to the credits. Oh, and also, Eric, I credit you on every show. Thank you so much for that song, the remake of the Bill Withers song that you did on B's album. Like
Oh,
it's the
yes.
silver lining. It's the silver lining song. So you
That's
know,
beautiful. First of all, B-Boy is an amazing artist. And, you know, it's crazy that I'm such a Bill Withers fan. And it's crazy
yeah.
that he just passed. And we did that song a couple of weeks before he passed. And it was just like, it was really, really, really a touching tribute that we didn't realize was going to be a touching tribute. It's funny, you do, a lot of times, you do music and you don't realize the intent of the music or the reason. You might write something or do something that's wiser than you. And you'll go like, all right, well, why did I write that or whatever? And then I found myself, when I got the news that Bill Withers passed, it was the day of the release of the album. We had interviews planned, marketing thing planned. And when I heard the news that morning, everything stopped. Like, just forget everything. I'm just going to spend the day wallowing in my sadness because I was really, 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 really hurt.
Right.
And then through the day, I just started discovering all the seeds that we've been planting, like throughout the month of Bill Withers to help me heal. I mean, those little small video footage things. It's like a picture small. It's somewhere right over there. It's real small. You put it in a projector and it projects it.
Oh
I
yeah,
bought on
those
eBay
slides. Yes, yeah.
many years ago a picture of Bill Withers on one of those little slides. It's super, super small. A picture of like Bill Withers in concert. I found it like while cleaning out the basement like a couple weeks ago. So of course that day while wandering around the house, I find this little slide. Then of course I remember that me and B-Boy just cut Lovely Day. In my phone, I did a music class with my kids. I'm teaching them the key, the scale of C. The song they easily learn how to play after you learn the scale of C is "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. And I taped me and my son going, dun, sometimes in our life, dun, 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 dun. Like, and I'm like, just on that day, and it's like, these were the seeds that we did just to grow out of this funk that I'm in today. Lovely Day special song, B-Boy is really, really amazing. And it's a great tribute for a phenomenal artist, you know, so all good.
Well, I'm glad I get to use it. Lovely Day is the song that I use for the Silver Lining series. So I'm glad I get to use it for each episode. So thank you, B. And thank you, Eric, for the song.
Well, I didn't give you permission, so we'll be sending you an invoice.
That would be a publishing rights all through.
I know, no, good. Look, anything of mine is yours. You already know it. You already know it.
Thank you so much. And you heard that first, ASCAP. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your jewels and your wisdom. This is what the series is all about, just sharing your story and giving us advice on how to maintain and how to be hopeful during this time. So thank you for that.
Honor and a pleasure. Whenever you're ready to talk again, I'm ready.